From the beating of your heart to the cycles of the moon, from the changing of seasons to the ebb and flow of your emotions, all of life moves in rhythm, in circles, in patterns that can be measured and understood. And in doing so, we can learn more about ourselves and the world around us. Welcome to our exploration of the fourth Hermetic principle, the law of rhythm, another piece of ancient frequency wisdom that reveals how everything in the universe moves according to predictable cycles. So far in our journey through these esoteric laws, we've explored how your inner world creates your inner reality through the law of correspondence, how everything exists as vibrating energy through the law of vibration, and how opposites are actually the same energy at different degrees through the law of polarity. Today, we will talk about perhaps the most practical principle yet, one that gives you the power to navigate life's ups and downs with newfound mastery. This spiritual wisdom that will change your life reveals that nothing stands still. Everything flows. The law of rhythm states, everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. This principle is perhaps the easiest to observe in the natural world. The 4 seasons cycle predictably. Day turns to night and back again. The moon waxes and wanes. Tides rise and fall. Even the planets and stars move in measurable, rhythmic orbits. Your body operates according to these same rhythmic principles. Your heart beats in a measurable rhythm. Your breathing follows patterns. Your sleep cycles, hormonal fluctuations, and even your brain waves all flow according to biological rhythms that science has documented. The principle extends to human systems as well. Financial markets cycle through periods of growth and recession. Civilizations rise and fall. Fashion trends come and go and come again. These are not random events, but manifestations of the law of rhythm, spiritual physics revealed through human experience. Perhaps most importantly, this principle operates in your personal experience. Your emotions follow rhythmic patterns. Happiness gives way to sadness, enthusiasm to apathy, confidence to doubt. Your energy levels, creativity, productivity, and focus all ebb and flow throughout the day, month, and year. And these soul-shifting spiritual concepts aren't just philosophical. They're very much backed by science. Researchers have documented ultradian rhythms, 90 to 120-minute cycles that govern your alertness, energy, and cognitive function throughout each day. The struggle many people experience comes from fighting against these natural rhythms rather than working with them. When you try to maintain peak performance, happiness, or productivity at all times, it doesn't really work because you're battling against one of the most fundamental laws of the universe. The life-changing spiritual insight here is that by understanding and honoring these systems, you can stop exhausting yourself fighting against them and instead harness their natural power. This is true energy mastery. While the law of rhythm dictates that everything moves in cycles, there's a profound secret hidden within this principle. The pendulum swings, but you can control its arc and even rise above it completely. Every swing to the left is matched by an equal swing to the right. But what if you could position your consciousness above the pendulum rather than being attached to it? This is the wisdom teaching for personal evolution that ancient masters discovered. When you develop an awareness of these rhythmic patterns in your life, you can begin to reduce their extremes. Instead of swinging wildly between ecstatic happiness and deep depression, you can experience a more centered, a balanced emotional state. This doesn't mean life becomes dull or monotonous. Rather, you begin to experience these rhythms from a higher perspective, one where you're no longer completely identified with the current phase of any cycle. Here's how you can begin applying the law of rhythm in your daily life. First, become aware of your personal rhythms. For 1 week, track your energy, mood, creativity, and focus at different times of day. Notice the patterns that emerge. Next, align your activities with these natural rhythms instead of fighting against them. Schedule your most demanding cognitive tasks during your peak alertness. Plan creative work during your most inspired times. Allow for rest and recovery during natural energy dips. You can also use rhythm deliberately to shift your state. Conscious breathwork, inhaling for a count of 4, holding for 7, and exhaling for 8, creates a rhythm that can calm your nervous system in moments of stress or anxiety. Establish daily, weekly, and seasonal rhythms through rituals and routines. These act as anchors during life's inevitable fluctuations and help you maintain balance even as external circumstances change. The thing is, understanding the law of rhythm gives you a tremendous advantage in navigating larger life patterns. Financial cycles, for instance, are predictable. Markets expand and contract. When you know this ancient frequency wisdom, you can prepare for downturns during upswings and position yourself for opportunity during downturns. Relationships also follow rhythmic patterns. Periods of intense connection, followed by times of more independence. Cycles of growth and consolidation. By recognizing these as natural rather than problematic, you can ride these waves with more grace and less anxiety. Your career and creative projects follow similar cycles, phases of inspiration and implementation, periods of intense activity and necessary rest. These esoteric laws for modern life remind us that fallow periods aren't failures. They're essential parts of the creative process. The key is developing the awareness to recognize which phase of any cycle you're experiencing, the wisdom to work with it rather than against it, and the patience to trust the process when you're in a down cycle, knowing that an up cycle will follow as surely as day follows night. To illustrate this better, let's take the example of Sarah. For years, she berated herself for inconsistent productivity. Some days she could work for hours with intense focus and creativity, while other days she felt foggy and unmotivated, no matter how hard she pushed herself. After learning about the law of rhythm, Sarah began tracking her energy patterns and discovered she had predictable cycles. 3 days of high energy and creativity, followed by 1 day of lower energy. She had been fighting against her natural rhythm, trying to be equally productive every day. Instead of continuing this struggle, she redesigned her work schedule around these natural cycles. She scheduled her most demanding projects and meetings during her high-energy days, and used her lower-energy days for administrative tasks, planning, and rest. The results were transformative. Not only did her overall productivity increase, but she no longer experienced the guilt and frustration of fighting against her natural rhythms. By applying this spiritual physics revealed through the law of rhythm, she found greater ease and accomplishment. Let's end with an energy mastery practice that helps you experience the law of rhythm directly. Rhythm awareness meditation. 1. Find a comfortable seated position and close your eyes. 2. Bring attention to your breath. Notice its natural rhythm. 3. Without trying to change it, simply observe the inhalation, the brief pause, the exhalation, and another pause. 4. Now, Expand your awareness to your heartbeat. Feel its steady rhythm. 5. Expand further to notice the rhythm of your thoughts, how they arise, peak, and subside. 6. Finally, bring to mind a challenging cycle in your life. Visualize it as a wave or pendulum. 7. See yourself rising above this wave, observing its moment with detachment. 8. Recognize that you are not the wave itself, but the awareness watching it rise and fall. This meditation helps you establish the perspective of the observer, the part of you that remains constant even as all else flows in cycles. When you see things like this, life's rhythms become less threatening and more fascinating. The law of rhythm reveals that everything in life moves in cycles, patterns, and measurable sequences. This life-changing spiritual insight liberates you from the fear and resistance that come from fighting against natural ebb and flows. Keep in mind, every high tide is followed by a low tide. Every period of growth is followed by a period of consolidation. Every challenge contains within it the seeds of its own resolution, which will bloom in perfect timing. In our next video, we'll explore the law of cause and effect, how every action generates a corresponding reaction, and how understanding this principle gives you unprecedented power to shape your destiny. If these soul-shifting spiritual concepts resonate with you, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the continuing journey through all 7 Hermetic principles. Share in the comments how you've experienced the law of rhythm in your own life, or which personal rhythm you're becoming more aware of after watching this video. Until next time, may you flow gracefully with life's rhythms, riding each wave with awareness, patience, and trust in the perfect timing of all things.